And let's just show everybody that you all are here. There's everybody in the classroom, and we're going to record our lecture so that you can watch it thereafter. All right? Well done, thank you. Now, just to remind you that this recording is just to assist the people that are part-time, people that are working and unable to attend. But I'm so happy that the people that are working are here. So thank you very much. Welcome to the part-time police student, right? Very good. Okay, so this class is repeated on a Wednesday at 10 o'clock. So that's for group P1, P2, P3. So let me quickly share that timetable and show you what I'm talking about. So if I looked at the timetable on a Wednesday, I see P1, P2, P3. So P1, P2, P3 group should not be here. P4, P5, P6 should be here. Okay? Now, if you can come on a Wednesday, it'll be nice to come. And if you can watch the video of a Wednesday, it's similar to what I'm doing on a Thursday. But because I'm me, I will not do exactly the same thing, right? But I'll try to keep you all in tune with both that's going on. So let's just go through what I did yesterday in the lecture. I asked the question, how many bytes make up a kilobyte? Now, this was in the WhatsApp group. Don't hear anybody be using WhatsApp in class, right? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Keep my phone. You can keep your phone on in my class, right? But only in my class. Right? You're not supposed to have your phone on. So there's a question. I said, how many bytes make up a kilobyte? Now, this came from chapter 1, which I did when we were on lockdown, right? When we were online. So I asked the question, and I see 97 of you got it right. Well done. So it's 1,000 bytes. Now, I'll be failing in my duty if I don't mention to you that some purists, as a computer scientist, considers 1,024 bytes as a kilobyte. All right? Because 2 to the power 1 is 2, 2 to the power 2 is 4, 2 to the power 3 is 8. That used to be the word size of a computer character. 2 to the power 4 is 16. 2 to the power 5 is 32. 2 to the power 6 is 64. 2 to the power 7, 128. 2 to the power 8 is 256. 2 to the power 9 is 512. And 2 to the power 10 is 1,024. So a purist would say, if you're talking about bits and bytes, then a kilobyte is 1,024 bytes. But if you looked at the question, though, the way I asked it, it was 1,000 bytes. Now, this also comes up into where we talk about speed. We're talking about what's speed we're looking at, 1,000 bits per second, right? That's another concept. So I'm not going to check the votes. Who said 500 bytes here? One person said 500. Who said that? Huh? Right, I can check. I have view votes there. Lucky nobody said sir, I don't know. I can view the votes. There. Due to Zeka, funeral service. Who's that? Who's that? Right. Now, yesterday I also I spoke to them about computer speed. I'll go through this in chapter 2. So whenever you're looking at a computer, you want to buy a computer. Now, you are on the road to becoming computer literate. This is what this course is all about. CMIL101, right? If you look at our study guide. By the way, you all know where to get our study guide from? Who doesn't know? Anybody who's not in the MS Teams group? You're not in the MS Teams group. Mr. Mota, you need to sort the student out, right? Add them on the MS Teams group. You mind doing it, or should I do it? We have to do that for you, right? You have to all be on the MS Teams group. So it's just one person. I can add you on quickly. Just one person. Okay, let me add her quickly, right? You don't mind everybody. You got to hold on, wait. Make sure everybody's on the group. Right, let's go to my Teams. The Teams is CPIT. Let's go to add a member. Quickly give me the student number. 22 38 36 02. Is that you? Right, add you. Check your email. It's done. You too. Oh no. Okay, this is the last one I'm doing, right? Because everybody's going to be saying I'm wasting time. I did this 2 weeks ago. You have to come for lectures. My rule is I don't repeat lectures, okay? But last time, I'm breaking the rule. 22 4 35 95 39. That's one in. Ah, no, great. Right, so I've added you. Now I'm just going to go into my let me say some battery power here, because I got 36% and there's no power. Escom is cut off the power to the power plugs, but they got the lights working. Joke. Right, so let's just put some battery saver on over there. Let's see, it's on. Oh yes, it's on. Right, it's on. Is it on? So I asked a question yesterday about computer speed. Now, when we're talking about computer speed, and someone posted a very nice question in the WhatsApp group. The question said, what are they talking about? Clock speed versus, it was somewhere the question was, where's the question? What is the difference between computer speed and clock speed, right? And you need to ask your best friend. Your best friend is? Google. Yes. We all have acquaintances. We don't have best friends, in my view. Friends, they come there, they use you, what you can get from them and all that, right? So ask Google, and there's the answer there that was out there. Clock speed is determined by the number of calculations the processor can make. Computer speed and clock speed is the number of cycles the processor. But listen, you are CPIT 101 students, first year level. We're not getting in depth into opening the computer up, checking what's on the motherboard, looking at the circuitry, and taking a soldering iron and doing all of that. We're not doing that one, right? But it's good to know. So in terms of you wanting to buy a computer, the most important component or the aspect that you look at is the processing speed. And I'll show you how to do that. If you watched my video last night, which I hope my number of views have increased, right? I was so sad, 0 views on my, right? I spoke about how you go and check on the computer, the processor. So right now, i7 seems to be the brand name, to say, hey, if I got an i7, yeah, I'm good, right? And the clock speed is about 3 gigahertz, gigs. If you remember my chapter 1, I spoke to you about megahertz, megabytes and gigabytes. So computer speed is measured in hertz. Now, I'm not going to go into the physical science of hertz as the number of cycles and the waves and all that goes. I'm just interested in that, all right? Now, these are very simple questions. See, I put kilometers per hour. You know that's for cars, miles per second. I don't know about that. Who said they don't know? Please tell me, sir. I will check that out. I will check. Whoa, check all these people. Anonymous. See, you put it. Who's anonymous? Right? Right? So I'm just telling you, you've been warned. Don't put anonymous. Right? There's another question here. So this question, I know it's a funny question. He said, when was Microsoft Windows 95 launched? It was actually in August of 1995. Right? Next question. When was Windows 2000 launched? In 2000. Joke? No. Right. So Windows is the operating system. We came to learn software, but we're not getting in-depth in software. We're not learning C++ programming. We're not learning how to program this computer. That you'll learn in another course, right? Course 201 or something. Uh-oh. Hello. The protest is over, right? Right. Okay. So there's a question out there. I'm so happy 84 people got it right. And nobody said, don't ask me. So part of chapter 2, I'm talking about memory, right? There's types of memory, and one is a, right, RAM and ROM. So keep this in mind. If I'm a teacher, I'm putting in some cognitive structures for you. And the cognitive structure and the hook to grab onto was RAM, random access memory, and read-only memory. Now, I'll actually show you on my computer how much of RAM I've got. And you can try it on your computer as well. Right? Hey, look at that. That was who said it's a male sheep. It is a male sheep. But in terms of what I'm talking about in computers, let's not become farmers and say it's that RAM, right? RAM and you. Okay, RAM is something else, right? I'm going to show it to you. So that is a good right answer. ROM is read-only memory. So read-only memory means I can't change it, right? That is required in the computer so that I could, like today, if I press the letter A, it's going to show me A on the keyboard. It's not going to show me B, right? That stays the same. That's what I mean by ROM, read-only memory. Who said I don't know? Read on memory. No, man, that was a joke. That wasn't really true, okay? This is only the beginning where I'm talking about these jokes and all of that. When I get serious, like on the 20th of March, you're writing a test. Did you check my video? See, you didn't check my video. You said, oops, right? Because it was recorded yesterday, right? So sort out your time, your bus transport and all of that. I'll show you what that is. So there's a question out here. You are a CPIT 101 student. Your friend wants to buy a PC. Okay? That's what you came here. You came to become computer literate, right? We don't know everything. I don't know everything in computers. IT is changing all the time. But you will generally get this question. Listen, I want to buy a computer. What should I look at? All right? It's like saying, I want to look for a girlfriend. What should I look at, right? Okay, unless girlfriend, boyfriend, I don't know which way you swing, right? So you must say, maybe she needs to be younger than me. It's nice, guys. Take that into account. Younger than you, so maybe you can control a little bit. And then maybe pretty, maybe working, maybe educated, maybe like a diploma or degree or at least matric or something. So those are characteristics associated with your future spouse. So the same thing would be with the computer. What would be the over important factor that you need to look at with the computer? All right? Just like your spouse, your future spouse, what must be the over important factor, the most important one? Without what, that's I'm not going to go and marry that person, right? By the way, don't get married in all life. You're too young, right? Get your diploma, degree, and everything. Right? Get your qualification. Too difficult after that. Once you get kids and all on the way, tough, right? I have to tell you all these things because some of my students, they'll tell me, oh, well, sir, I can't write the test. I got to go take the baby to the clinic, all that studies, right? So sort that out. Remember, I'm talking from experience. You can see I'm a bit older than you. So coming back to this computer story, if you have to buy a computer, the most important component you need to look at is the processing speed, right? It's like you buying a car. The most important component, I would think, is the engine capacity. Is it a 1.3? That's a slow car. Is it a 2-liter? That's a fast car. Is it a V8? Very fast car, right? Because we're looking at the speed and the status and the whatever is associated. So in terms of computers, it's the speed, the processor. But that shouldn't be the only factor, right? That should be the only factor. Maybe you're looking at how much of space you need. Hard disk drive space. You'll look at the amount of RAM because that'll influence the processing speed of the computer, right? That's what I mean by that. Who said color of the computer? Who said color of the computer? Who said color? I know how to check it. I can check it, right? I can check color. Who said color? Color. Who's that? Mlondi. Change your answer quickly. By the way, don't change your answer. I know girls will look at the color and say, one day I took my friend to buy one laptop, macro, wanted to buy a red laptop because it looked pretty. You're paying extra for that red laptop. Huh? To me, shirt must be functional, right? No, the shirt must match the match the pants. That's important. That's a factor, but it's not the most important factor. Okay. Now, there's this question. Sir, will this come out in the test? Am I teaching you about differentiation and integration and all of that? No, that's not going to come out in the test. I'm not going to waste my time coming here to talk to you about something that's not coming out to be assessed. Bottom line is, you need to get your qualification. To get your qualification, CPIT is in your curriculum. To get CPIT 101, you need to have a assessment, because right now I can't take for granted that you know computers. I got to have one test or an exam for you to say I know how to do, I'm computer literate, right? Will you all believe me if I say I know how to do research?
No.
I got doctorate. I'm Dr. T.P. Governor, PhD. Oh, come on, right? I gotta learn to show off a little bit more. You know, people don't realize that. So if I have the name, the initial PhD behind my name, you know that. Listen here, I'm qualified as an academic, and I know something about research. Okay, all right. So that's what I mean by. So will it come out in the test? Yes, it will come out in the test. I won't teach you for nothing. All right, I won't teach you for nothing, and I'm qualified to teach you too. All right, next one. Clock speed is measured in gigahertz, which is millions of instructions per second. Ooh, right? So this was a hectic one. Some said false, some said true. So the jury is still out. Let's see who can figure out what is the trick out there. What was the catch in there, right? Is it millions of instructions per second, billions of instructions per second, thousands of instructions per second? Okay, so work it out. Right, this was my YouTube video. Let's see if my number of views increased. Right, let's see if my number of views increased. Yay! 119 views 6 days ago. Wow. But I'm not competing with Beyonce and Michael Jackson. Right. So there we go. Right, there's my lecture there. Right, so I'm gonna stop that one. Then this was yesterday. Please, when you're leaving, push your chairs in. Otherwise, my students got to push it in, right? And I'll make a video of it and I'll post it on WhatsApp. Then someone asked about this question. Let's play it for me. Oh, where's my sound? And here. Okay, anyway, they asked a question about email. I will communicate with you via Outlook. The reason I started WhatsApp was some of y'all weren't registered. Y'all didn't know what to do. We had protest action. So WhatsApp is nice to communicate, right? That's what it is. I also wrote an article a long time ago about WhatsApp and all of that, so that's why I'm using it. There's the question out here. Oh, look at that, views. Look at that, it was only, 88 views, it picked up, right? And then it was 0 views. Let me see if there's any more views now. Let me see, from yesterday. Oh man, 17 views. Please. But I got 6 likes. Right? Will you share it with your friends, family? Ask them that I want more views. Please, right? If you watch yesterday's video, you don't have to come for today's class. You see? If you watch the video. Too bad. You're like here now. Oh, sometimes I just decide not to record a video. I decide not to record a video. So you have to come to class because the rule is, how many views I got there? I said only 18 views. Only 18 views. Please share with family to increase views, right? Okay, right, so you're going to do that for me. Then I spoke to you about, right, so let's start with chapter 2. And I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try and record a recording of PowerPoint, right? So I have to be a little bit formal and all that goes with it. Now, if you want the PowerPoints, you'll find it in MS Teams. That's why you have to be on MS Teams, okay? Right, so you'll find it in MS Teams. So let's go and it says start the recording on PowerPoint. I did this morning. Right, there we go. So I said goodbye to chapter 2. Chapter 1, and now I'm starting with chapter 2. Let's see, recording. Your media device indicator is not set up correctly or used by another app. Okay, I got to stop that in Teams. So let's stop the camera. I forgot about the camera, right? Let's stop the camera there. And let's go to my PowerPoint presentation. So now it says, why does it look like that? Oh, it looks there. On your screen, it looks like that. On my screen, it looks different. So we're saying goodbye to chapter 1. Chapter 1 I covered last week. Basically, in a week, I will cover a chapter, right? There's about 6 chapters for me to do. I'll spread one chapter over 2 lessons, and 1 week would be test week, which is in the 20th. Oh, I gotta scale a little bit so that y'all pay extra attention. I'll show you where the test week is. So, and I'll show. Let me share my mail. Right. SITH. There we go. Final draft. There's test week. Let me see if CPIT is there. Let's make that a little bigger. CPIT. Oh, look at that. Okay. Now, by the way, now there's 156 of you. Initially, there was 120, so lots of people have come. S10 basement. Oops, sorry. If you can't see what I'm, just to tell me, I don't know what's up with this. Duplicate. Right. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. When I'm talking, and I don't look at the back button, just check it out there. On the 20th, you're going to be writing a test. And don't ask me what's coming out in the test, because I'll simply tell you all the work that I covered, right? Because I haven't set the test as yet, right? And it's going to be in session E, right? Session E. Now, the reason we do that is we don't take anybody else's lecture. If you have it 8 o'clock in the morning, then the maths lecturer will complain, the physics lecturer will complain. Why did I take that? It happens to me too. So we're going to have it in the afternoon, and it starts at 4 o'clock, right? Y'all are first years. Y'all need to be there at least 15 minutes beforehand, right? S10 basement. So that, and come with your student card. I may know who you are, but we're going to have external invigilators, right? And then I'm also having my other 2 courses there at the same time, CMIL101, and so I'll have to be jumping all around to see what's. I got to increase this number, okay? So it's important to write that assessment, because if you want to pass the course, pass assessment 1, assessment 2, assessment 3, you'll pass. If you want to pass, you do the opposite, right? So there's the test happening on the 20th, okay? And my tests are easy if you look at the WhatsApp questions, but some of them are out to catch you, right? Tricky ones, because I don't want everybody to get 100% and they'll say it's such an easy paper, right? Or I gave you all the questions, right? And then also they'll audit me and they say, oh, 100%, something's up here, right? So it's also nice to be, you know, slightly, right?
Is it a multiple choice paper?
Right. I haven't thought about it. There's going to be multiple choice, but I have to have 1 or 2 questions that are short questions, right? Paragraph type. That's another thing too. Why you have all multiple choice? If you have all multiple choice, you must have negative marking so that you prevent people from guessing, right? But this course is not your major course. You're not going to be doing it next year. There's no CPIT 201. There's no CPIT 301. That's not a major course. So this, I must like kind of take note that it is. What can I say? It's a course that's, for lack of a better word, a filler course, an ancillary course. Okay? So it's not as if I need to have essay types, and you are not postgraduate students, you are undergraduate, first years. I don't want to scare you away and then you don't come study at DUT, right? At the same time, I can't have a low standard where I don't test you on what I teach. Okay, does that answer your question? Right. Don't worry, as we come closer to that, I'll keep in touch with you. And I promise I'll keep in touch with you as daily as well. Check my WhatsApp. If you don't see any of my WhatsApp status changes or I don't post something, please contact the police, right? Something has happened to me. Okay. Right, so there's my chapter 2. Right, it's there. Let's start this recording again. Use the record tab from the beginning. Let's record from the beginning. Right, so chapter 1. Yes. Right, chapter 1. Chapter 1 is over. We did that 2 weeks ago. Right, where I spoke about bits and bytes and all this, the processes of a computer and why you need to study it and things like that. Right, so let's go to chapter 2. In this chapter, you're going to talk about hardware components. Now, if you looked at your study guide, please tell me you looked at your study guide. It's on Teams. Oh, you can't say that because you weren't on Teams. You only got on today. Huh? No, I didn't put it on Moodle. Oh, I'm a Teams guy. TEAM stands for T, together, E, everyone, A, achieves, M, more. Right? Right? No man is an island. We're all together. And we're going to look at, so if this is a learning objective, let me talk to you what a learning objective is. A learning objective means at the end of this lesson or at the end of this chapter, this is what you should have accomplished and learned something. So if you came here and you spent 1 hour with me and nothing, you learned nothing from this lecture, then you wasted your time and my time. But if you learned something about the functions of the central processing unit, CPU, you learned something about the parts of a system unit and the fatherboard, motherboard, see how we, even computer scientists, we acknowledge the motherboard gives birth to all the other chips on the board. That was, thank you for smiling, that was a joke, right? You see, this is why I like face-to-face lectures. We have online, I don't see all of that. They put the camera off and all of it. So. Then we talk about input devices and output devices, okay? And let me give you a hot tip for the exam. An input device, I will confuse you, and I'll state that a touch-sensitive screen is an input device, right? I can say true or false. Think of the McDonald's touch screen. Y'all go to McDonald's? Or don't go to the Bria one. There was a hostage taking over there. Right? You go to it, there's a touch screen. Now you can see the output from the screen, and you can, so it's both an input and an output device. Check. But this screen out here, if you touch it too, nothing happens. Right? Okay? So then it's just an output. But we examiners like to catch you and say whether it's an input and an output device. Right? So I already told you all about that catch. Now, maybe I'll use it in the test, maybe I'll not use it. Then we'll talk about printer types, right? Just, again, I'm talking to you in terms of you being computer literate. Someone comes up to you and says, I need to buy a printer. If money is no object, I love that. Money is no object, what should I look for in a printer? Right? Okay? So maybe I'd look at volume. Maybe I'd look at quality. Maybe I want color printers. I'm talking about, I'm a graphic designer, a photographer. Ooh, then we're going to talk about communication devices. Right? We'll highlight that. Again, you are a computer literate student, or supposed to be, or you're on the way to being computer literate. I need to take this device and communicate with another device. What do I need to ensure that I have? All right? And storage devices. So, very briefly, a hardware device is something that you can touch, feel, hold, see. Right? This monitor in front of us, this data projector, this mouse, it's physical. Right? In terms of the opposite of that, opposite of hard is soft. Where is where, both sides, right? The software are the programs, the operating system, C++, a compiler. Now you can't really see a Windows 95 or Windows 2000 or Windows 11, right? I don't want to come out of this PowerPoint presentation, but I can share that with you afterwards. Or if you watch yesterday's video, right? Okay, I did it there. The students had the computers on. They actually went and checked what their software was, what version of Windows. I had Windows 11, they had Windows 10. Okay. Then we're looking at the processor. Remember here, one of the questions I asked you about what was the the deciding factor in buying a computer, and we looked at the processor, the CPU, the central processing unit. I like to think of the CPU as being the brain of the computer, right? The brain, it's like our brain. Without our brain, nothing will function. My hand won't work, my legs, nothing. I can't breathe, all of that. Same thing with the computer. If there's no central processing unit, it can't function. All right? Input-output storage. If I was teaching programming, I'll talk about the IPO algorithm in order to solve a programming example. Input, what goes into the computer, what am I processing with it, and what comes out. If I look at my keyboard, that's an example of an input device. If I look at this mouse, I am giving instructions. I am putting in, not a nice word to say putting in, that's why we say input, right? I'm giving an instruction to the computer. The computer will store that instruction in its memory. And I already started you and told you a multiple choice question. I asked you about ROM and RAM. It will look at that and store it. And the more RAM that it has, the random access memory, the more programs it can store temporarily. If it can store that temporarily, it makes life easier too. Just get that call. Maybe it's your, or you're only allowed to take a call from your husband, wife, mother, father. Right? Okay. So here, this is how it all works in conjunction with each other. We said that processing takes place in the CPU. There's special departments, like we have the computer science department at DUT will be dealing with computer science work. The maths department will be talking about mathematics and differentiation and integration. In the computer, they have what is known as the arithmetic logic unit. And like the word says, arithmetic logic unit, that will be responsible for determining whether a number is greater than another number, equal to another number, less than another number, adding the number, right? I really don't know how it works, but all I know is it's there, right? Control unit, it ensures that the sequence of instructions takes place in a particular order. Again, you are computer literacy students. I'm not going to delve in detail how and what takes place there. All right. So that's the control CPU. Like I said, it's the brain of the computer. Now we're saying it's divided into the ALU and the control unit. So I can say maybe it's this whole brain up here, left hemisphere, right hemisphere, something for speech, something for memory, and all of that, right? So that's why when you get a knock on your head, maybe you'll forget something because the random access memory is gone, right? RAM, random access memory. That one I can make changes to it. But your read-only memory, that one we shouldn't be making changes to it, right? Like my name, I shouldn't be changing that. That's my read-only memory. My date of birth, I shouldn't be changing that. Can I change that? No. 6, male or female, shouldn't, okay. Right. So what are the functions of the central processing unit? The central processing unit, it fetches an instruction, it decodes the instruction, it executes the instruction, and it stores the instruction, right? So you, as a higher education first-year student, you can go and read more on this, what I'm talking about, right? I'm just touching the surface. Here's the question that appeared in yesterday's WhatsApp, clock speed. Clock speed is measured in gigahertz, billions per second. Now, let's look at this WhatsApp question. You know, they were saying it was millions per second or billions per second. Right, where's this now? Let's see who answered, who said false. I know, Mr. Slavitt, if you are listening to the lecture, you said false yesterday. Clock speed is measured in gigahertz, which is millions of instructions per second. True or false? False. Why? Because it's billions, right? Oh, I like to play with my pointer and all of that, right? It's billions. See how I caught you out? You all thought it was millions, right? That's what we lecturers and academics out here. We out here to catch you out, right? It is billions, and I said millions for instructions. If you don't read the question properly, boom, right? So I spoke to you about this thing about the processor. I told you that you have one of the most important components is being a processor, but you can also have more than one processor in a computer, right? Like they said, dual processor or multiprocessor. It's like having a car with two engines, or having a car with the engine and a turbo. Okay, it's like, you know, ladies having a stove with, instead of 2 plates, 4 plates. Okay, instead of 1 plate, dual plates. Ah, come on, that was a joke. I'm trying not to be sexist. You'll say I'm only talking about cars. I'm only talking about. Okay, right? Then there's another unit that they talk about, a graphics processing unit, a GPU, where, let's say for instance, I want to watch movies on my computer. Now, today, most of them come with the high processing graphics unit. Long time ago, like when I started computers in 1986, please tell me some of you were born. Oh, thanks. Every year I ask that question, class gets further and further away, right? 1986. Then you had to have a special processor for the graphics unit because it could not handle the graphics. You'll get it staggering. You know, it's no, jiggy, not. So let's look at what they talk about here. They talked about the functions of the central processing unit. This gets too much in depth, right? We're not going to go into that. Right, here's the picture of your CPU. I don't have an example to bring to you, but next time I think I'll open out one of my old computers and show it to you. But please feel free to search on YouTube for pictures or videos on replacing a CPU. When you replace a CPU, it's like basically taking one car engine out and putting another car engine in. All right. So there's a picture of it. Ah, there's something nice. Heat sink and a cooling fan. Let's talk about that. Now, the computer works at such high speeds that it actually generates heat, all right? And that's why they need what is known as a heat sink fan. So you'll notice computer rooms are generally air conditioned. See, air cons, because we don't want the processor to get too hot. Right? Being hot is good, cool, but see, hot is cool. That was a play on words. Thank you for getting the joke. Thank you. Okay. Identifying the parts of the motherboard. Let's see what they're talking about. There's the power supply, memory, the heatsink fan, and the motherboard. Memory, for our purposes, we'll just learn about the ROM and the RAM. If you want to get more into that, you can talk about ROM that can be programmed, erasable, programmable, read-only memory. You can think, I didn't bring my remote here. You can buy a remote from the electrical store or the alarm company store, whatever, and they can program that remote to open your door, your gate, or your car for that matter. Then it becomes programmed and that's it. It's going to stay like that. So that's a simple example of programmable read-only memory, right? So my car has a right inside here. There's a memory, a chip, and God forbid I lose this thing. I'll have to reprogram the whole system with a new code so that it would be able to open the door, close the door, set the alarm off, and so forth. Right? That's programmable read-only memory. And once it's done, it's done. I can't go now change it. Well, I should not be able to. All right. That's the thing about. So for our purposes, learn about that CPU, the processor, the memory, and we'll talk about the other communication devices as well. Right. There's the motherboard. I told you the motherboard. See, out of respect of our mothers, the mothers give birth to us, they look after us and all that goes. We got motherboard, right? I don't know why, but we're calling motherboard. Don't say fatherboard, right? On that note, do you know why they say mother tongue language? Why? Because the father's got no say. I thought that was funny. Okay, I'll tell you, computer joke. How many programmers does it take to change a light bulb? I told you that one, yeah. How many? One. I think it's a good thing for a WhatsApp poll. 0. It's a hardware problem. Programmers only deal with software. That's a joke. Thank you. I won't give you my C# joke. C# is a programming language. Why do C# programmers wear glasses? Or why do C programmers wear glasses? Yay! Have you done computers before?
Yes.
That's why you know that joke. Okay, here's the parts of a computer. They're talking about expansion slots. They fit onto the motherboard. They connect to additional peripheral devices. We're looking at a sound card. Now, in today's computers, the laptop, it comes preloaded. You know, when I say preloaded, it's already set with a card. You don't have to go and remove a sound card, plug it in. Or if it's the old, couple years old, maybe it is so, right? Just an expansion slot. Data buses are wires on the motherboard that carry the data between the components of the computer. It affects the speed of the computer, right? So let's go back many, many years ago. The word size was only 8 bits, and that's how you got a byte. If I had an increase in the word size and I made it 16, then I could have more in terms of storage. If I had 32 as a word size, then again, EFF, where's my EFF contact? No EFF, go protest. Right. So that's what they talk about speed, the data bus, the word size. Again, I'm not going to get too much into it. We're just touching the surface of what's going on, right? BIOS, oh, this is a nice one. BIOS, anyone knows what that means? BIOS. Basic input, output system, right? CMOS, nice word, CMOS. I'm just showing off how much I know now. Complementary metal oxide semiconductor, all right? Okay, I'm just showing up. You must know that I'm qualified to teach you. You must know that I know something to sit in front of you, right? So BIOS is a read-only chip. Remember I spoke about ROM, read-only memory? So the BIOS will have the information about the computer. What's the speed, what's its memory, all of that, right? It's going. And when I say it's non-volatile, it's used to start the basic operations of the computer when you switch it on. Non-volatile memory does not require power to keep the data. So this BIOS, even if I switch the computer off and there's no power to it, like what happens in load shedding, ESCOM and all of that, right? Oh, by the way, EFF, I support that, load shedding. Where's EFF? Where's your t-shirt? I support that, right? But EFF, just a point of note, it's a national issue, right? It's not a DUT issue. Whole country suffering with load shedding, all right? Okay, okay. Hope you don't mind me. So, if now there's no power, load shedding, and you switch the computer on, it'll still know, in inverted commas, what processor it had, what memory it had, all that goes with it, all right? Because it was stored in this type of memory, the BIOS. Again, we're not going to get too much into it, just know that. I don't know if you noticed this, when you switch the computer on, it also has the same time and the date and everything. Have you noticed that? You notice that? Because it's got a tiny little battery, it's like a watch battery inside of it, that keeps the time running. But if you don't switch your computer on for like months and months, then that battery too eventually dies, all right? Okay, so that's a nice word, non-volatile versus volatile. So non-volatile memory does not require power. ESCOM will be happy to hear that. And CMOS, it stands for complementary metal oxide semiconductor, CMOS. The settings are stored in the CMOS chip. This CMOS is volatile. Volatile means it needs some power, but don't worry, I told you it's got a little battery that keeps it running, okay? The computer memory is a temporary storage used to hold instructions and data. RAM, random access memory, is used by the operating system, programs, and the data. RAM, on the other hand, is volatile, so it needs power to run it, random access memory, okay? It's kind of temporary. If you think about the human being, we can talk of that as being short-term memory, all right? So for instance, if I asked you, what did you have for lunch last week? You may not be able to tell me, right? Hopefully, because that was short-term memory, right? So where you parked your car yesterday, don't know, but today I know where I parked it, short-term memory, right? But if I had to permanently store it in, like my birth date, when I was born, that's read-only memory. I don't want to change that, right? So even if someone knocks me off, put me unconscious, I get up a couple of days later, I may not know what happened, but if they ask me, I should know when I was, right? I should know who my family is and all of that, right? Don't be like Donald Trump when he was on stage. I mean, he couldn't identify who the wife was. On the photograph, he said it was. Let's not get into American politics, right? Okay, so what are the parts of the computer? We spoke about memory. In our terms, we need to know about RAM and ROM. Oh, there's some nice words over there. Volatile versus non-volatile. DIMM, D-I-M-M, dual inline memory module, right? SIM, single inline memory module. Can't be messaged from me because I never send a WhatsApp, right? Okay. Cache. Oh, this is a nice word. Cache memory. So you can think of cache as being temporary memory that allows me to speed up the process. So let's say, for instance, I'm selling hot chips out here in front of DUT, you know, by Jamila's next to that thingy. And every day I've got to bring my pocket of potatoes from Amlazi, or right, Kwamashu, far away. So I've got to come from Kwamashu with 10 bags of potatoes, come to here, and by lunchtime it's finished. At lunchtime I've got to go back to Kwamashu, get 10 bags and come back. Wouldn't it be nice if I had a small, like a storage area somewhere in DUT, maybe like, you know, BS 201 or something like that. So I keep my 10 pockets of potatoes in the back or something. Then when I need it, I quickly come here. Instead of going all the way to Kwamashu, it's easier. So that's what cache memory is all about, right? It's a little temporary storage. It kind of improves the speed. So by me having my 10 pockets of potatoes here, it makes life easy. Now in the exam, don't talk about potatoes, okay? Okay? It's just an analogy for you to understand what cache is all about. I used to be a school teacher and computer virus. So one day I told the students, computer virus is like when the computer is sick and, you know, it's like how we get sick and it can't function and what have you. That was just an analogy. In the exam, they wrote that. All right? Okay? So when I talk of an analogy, it's just for you to understand it. We teachers tend to do that, okay? Keyboard. Oh, do I need to tell you what's a keyboard? Do I need to? Ooh, battery's running low, gosh. And it's already 10 o'clock, right? Let's quickly go through it. So keyboard, forget about it. You can go and read that. By the way, this keyboard is from the old typewriter days. I don't think some of you know a typewriter. When I was in school, we used to learn typing. How many more slides I got? 15 of 33. I'm halfway through, so I'm gonna stop at 16, right? So, right. We'll stop at input devices because it's almost 10, and my battery is running low. I told you ESCOM. I don't know what's happening with that story, and I'm going to stop this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this. You can't see that. Let's stop that. Let's stop the recording. So I'll stop halfway through. Slide 16 of 33, and let's stop that. Let's stop the PowerPoint. Okay, let's stop. Where's my recording? Recording. Stop. So on Wednesday, I'll continue from 16 onwards. Okay. Right. So before my battery dies, anybody on the online? Hey, there's only 4 people online. All right, anyone on the online there? Anyone with a question, query for me? Question? All right. So let's make a question for you based on what I have spoken about. So I spoke about cache, and let me tell you where I get my questions from. Let's see where I get my questions from. All right, I get my questions from the internet. So I want to make up a question. What is CACHEMEMORY, right? So what is cache memory in computer architecture? So let's make up a question. So this is what it is. So it says Cache speeds up data processing. Cache hits a server, reading data from the cache, which is faster than computing results from the data storage. Cache memory is typically stored in hardware with immediate access. Okay, so here's my question to my students. Let's make up a question, and I'm going to say CACHE, cache memory is used to speed up the PROC processing of the PC, right? True. False. Right. Right. Take your phone out. WhatsApp. Answer the question. Which other lecturer allows you to keep your phone on in class? Come on. Right? And we shall end at that point. Right? Okay. Oh. Right? True or false? Cache memory is used to speed up the processing of the PC. And when y'all think about cache memory, y'all must think about chips. Huh? Right? The potatoes and the chips. Okay. So for the benefit of the students that are not on Teams, this PowerPoint presentation is out there for you to look at your leisure. Notes are there. I noticed none of y'all took down any notes because y'all didn't need to. Everything was done for you. If you like to take down notes and take everything down, you'll be longer over here. And I don't want to keep you longer than needed. All right? Okay. Right. My online students, I'm going to call it a day with you, but we'll stay here. Anybody else with let's stop the recording. I like to keep my videos like 50, 55 minutes or so. Oh, quickly ask a question. Online student, you raise your hand. Online student, raise your hand. What's the story? What's the question? Quickly. My battery's going to die. I can't hear you. Okay, type it in the chat. Online student. Okay, type it in the WhatsApp. Speak, or forever hold your peace. Okay, right? Not speaking. Oh, thank you for the clap. Thank you for the clap. Thank you. Right? Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's stop the recording now, right? Let's stop the recording, and I shall post this on. Oh man, hand up.